Previously on Survivor.
The number one target for this week for me is definitely Sahil. And that's because I've worked with him the least pretty much out of everyone else left in the game. So he's like an unknown entity and could be very easily used as a number against me.
I want to be more of a factor. Because on the one hand, I want the jury to notice me, but on the other, I want to kind of get as far as I can before I need to start doing that. Because I think once you start making those moves, you become a target. So
the plan is to go for James. We're going to shoot for the king, and we better not miss.
You know, sometimes you're just in the game and it's going and you feel like you're kind of stationary. It just kind of passes you by. And I'm kind of in that place right now. So.
And the 10th member voted out, and the 3rd member of our jury, James.
Love you, boys.
That is enough.
Sorry, James.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
10 are left. Who will be voted out tonight?
Last Tribal Council, that was a shocker. Ray was just an easy target. Everyone would have voted for Ray, at least we thought. And he was isolated, alone, desperate. So he actually texted me saying, "I vote for anyone with you guys if you guys don't vote for me. Like I'll just be an extra vote for you," which would have been helpful because then our other group and him could have easily voted out James, who we thought is a bigger long-term threat. And that was in our minds. I was talking to Source about this, but we ultimately decided that it was not worth betraying our team's trust right away. Because once we vote Ray out, we can have someone help us vote James out in the next tribal, and then be in firm control of the entire dynamic, the entire playing field. But someone beat us to it. Beat us through the punch.
So tribal, like I thought it might, did not go the way I anticipated or the way I voted. Alec Fields decided that he felt very strongly that he knew what was best for us in our alliance, and that was getting James and potentially his idol out of the game. And I wish he had told me that he had been able to get the votes to pull it off. I wish Beef maybe had filled me in that he had decided to flip. Hopefully this next vote we're able to actually agree and come together on who we want to take out so that we really put ourselves in a strong position in the final 9 of having hopefully a strong 5 to control the game. Also, I really need to shave. This does not look good from this angle. Okay, yep, that's the update.
Worked like we planned. We kind of wanted to blindside him because we thought he had the idol. So I think we did well. It kind of seemed like he was in charge, if that makes sense, So if there was a time where we were able to get him, it seemed like this was the best time. So I think we took the first chance that we got.
It was, I think, the first kind of crazy vote, or at least from that I've been a part of. So basically, like the old or the new Caliban tribe, which had the numbers, we 5 out of 7 of us had pretty much 6 out of 7 of us had agreed pretty much to vote out Ray, but Fields finally hopping in and giving him his input
felt like James was the better move because James potentially had an idol and we could surprise him.
It was definitely gave me a new perspective having won immunity, because for the first time it really started making me think about what I could be doing and the moves that I could be making instead of merely just following along. And I think it coincided nicely with where we are in the game, given that I'm starting to realize that before it was better to be more low key and just kind of stay by the sides because people are going to get out the bigger players. And now as it's dwindling down, I'm starting to realize that while I still want to keep the same low profile, I might need to be a little bit more active in terms of making sure things go the direction I want them to go to stay in the game as long as possible.
Created a secret alliance with Fields because before the vote I wanted to build some trust there. So I texted him and I was like, what do you think about us having an alliance? And he's like, yeah, I really like that idea. And Fields is the type of guy, he's not gonna lie to your face. He's just gonna tell you if he agrees with you or if he doesn't. And so the fact that he seemed interested in the alliance, and then after the vote he texted me, he's like, we should keep this going and keep it a bit DL. So I mean, I think that me and him can go pretty far because nobody's going to be suspecting us working together.
I had considered James, because James had been my second option, but I'd kind of settled with Ray, just thinking he was the safer option because it was just an easy vote. It was safe. So and then we'd hopefully blindside James the next vote. So that was kind of my thinking. But Fields was convinced James was the right choice. And I was talking to him up to tribal, and I thought I was the one he would be able to convince and then change. But since I was saying, no, I'm going Ray, I thought he would go Ray also. But apparently he talked to Beef and convinced Beef that James definitely had the idol. And so Beef ended up switching with him and voting with the other guys to vote out James. And
looks like it was Fields who was organizing people to vote for James. And Beef voted for James without telling us. So that was a concern. Now I'm a bit more worried about our alliance and whether there are maybe not cracks, but at least miscommunications and enough distrust to the point where we aren't telling each other who we're voting for. So that was a surprise.
I think, if he had the idol, they made the right move. It's impossible really to know, but I don't really hold any ill will toward. I wish they had let me know. I wish they had let me know that they were going to change, but I still consider them allies. And honestly, we had the same goals in mind. So not exactly a bad result, but just not the one that was expected.
Last tribal, me and Beef decided to make a big move. We went for James, and it worked out. I thought it was really funny because at tribal, when you were asking, what do you respect more, big moves or loyalty? And James said, big moves, I love chaos. Well, he definitely got chaos.
So apparently Bittner and James made a group chat with all 7, I think the 7 remaining Biani and Harrison. So they thought they had 8 people, and they just told all 8 people to vote against me. And then Beef and Harrison let me know ahead of time, and then we assembled a squad of 6, the 4 new Biani, and Beef plus Fields, and then we all got James out of there.
The dialogue that had been going on was everyone was it was going to be a unanimous vote against Ray. And so I basically hopped on a call with Beef, and I've been working with Ray more loosely in the past couple of weeks because he's just been kind of getting out of control, but he's reeling it back in. And I basically talked to Beef, and we were just why vote out Ray? It makes no sense for our game. If we vote out Ray this week, then next week they're going to target one of us, so there's no point in doing that. And so then we turned to the other, and we thought, so the big dogs were James and Bittner, and they really wanted Ray out. So we thought the only way we could vote for someone other than Ray and have them not be really pissed at us and target us at the next vote was to get one of them. So then I basically went to Ray and I was like, hey, here's the deal. They want you out. There's no way around it, and they have the numbers to do it. So our only hope is that we get the numbers for James.
I had to play I don't really know what's happening. None of my allies are talking to me. and my only other 2 allies are voted out of the game. Somebody just tell me who to vote for. And like I texted Reggie and I was like, dude, just tell me who to vote for and I'll do it. And then he told me the vote was between me and Andy. He straight up told me it was between me and Andy. So he's I don't think he's scared enough. Like I don't think he's like, he thinks he's way up here when he's like down here.
So he said Andy was in on James and Sahil was in on writing James. So then that would be 5 people. So we needed 1 more to flip. So I was sitting around thinking, like who is Alec Fields working with? Like I was kind of under the impression that like he was just working with Bittner and like because like that's his pudge son and like yada yada yada. But I was like, screw it, like let me send him a flyer text. So I literally just texted him and I was like, hey, like what are you thinking for tonight? And like we had a short little text conversation and I basically like we came to the conclusion that he would write James, and that was our 6th person, and that's all we needed because we were at 11. So that was exciting.
Me, Ray, and Andy, we'd been talking about it for a little bit, and then this was just the first chance that we were able to do it, like get enough people on board with it to actually do it successfully. It was the first time in a couple weeks that our plan had worked as well.
Before the vote, James texted me, LOL, this game gets crazier every tribal. And I was like, yeah, it does. That's why I love the game. And then after the vote, I texted him back and I was like, yeah, it does get crazier every tribal. I had to rub some salt into that wound.
Because James left with an idol, a new one had to be put in place when he was voted out. The next morning, I put a code into our Survivor group chat. Each person would have a maximum of 3 guesses to answer this riddle correctly. The first 2 people to answer this riddle correctly will receive an advantage.
I don't like it one bit. So I spent okay, not so much time, but I've probably spent about an hour just looking at it. Because, I mean, I don't have much to do, so it's not like I'm wasting my time, but like just thinking about it in the back of my head. Or like when I was working out today and like running on my treadmill. So instead of just running, I was like trying to think of what like possible configurations or what it could possibly stand for while I was running.
I don't know what the hell that is.
I was studying last night and then decided it'd be much more fun to try to decode the Survivor thing. So I took a break and it is nonsense. What I've made some progress, perhaps, is that it might be related to the table of elements, periodic table. I started trying to work with that because there's a lot of things lining up there. But it's not so like. I feel like it starts with you saying like tell something, like because it's like tell. I don't know. And then I tried doing like a letters to word or letters to numbers thing with the last couple words because those were nonsense. That almost led me, I thought, to something alphabet related, but I forgot what year we were founded, so it wasn't right.
I know we had 3 guesses, so I don't want to guess until we get at least one more clue, because at this point it doesn't seem like anybody knows what this clue means or like what this stands for.
I was trying to think what 52 could be, and I really have no idea. Or 52L. I looked up individual parts of that online, and like C6, HG, and got nothing.
Where my mind first went was chemistry, because there was an L with a PB in parentheses, and PB is the element lead, and L starts with lead. Like L is the first letter of lead. And then the next phrase was C6, and carbon is the 6th element on the periodic table. So I assumed there was some sort of correlation. And then the next one was Hg, and Hg is mercury. So I was thinking about that, and there's like a 52, like maybe 52 is a 52nd element in the table. And I just thought about all of it, but I didn't think it was the right path to go down. Maybe it was, but I think with the spacing you put and the numbers at the beginning, it just didn't seem consistent. And what would the full at the end mean? And like I've tried breaking it down into maybe, because I know one chunk of it was FWTH, and F is fluorine, W is tungsten. I'm pretty sure TH is another element. And I thought about it all that way. And at the end, full, the last word was full. And F is an element, U is an element, but L is not an element. So that's where I kind of ran off the trail.
Okay.
And another guess I had was that 52 is twice the number of letters in the English alphabet. So I was assuming there might have been like some sort of letter number correlation. We had to multiply every letter value by 2 and see what letter that would become. And I didn't really get anywhere with that. And I tried doing the letter decoders online, where they shift all the letters down one and you keep going.
Mhm.
And I tried that for all like 26 combinations and didn't get anything remotely English. So I kind of am just waiting now.
Spent like at least an hour and a half going through websites that do like cipher breaking and tried to figure it out and just have absolutely no idea. So I gave up on it, waiting for a clue.
This challenge is going to be a bit different. It's going to be over this. Essentially, there are a ton of balloons scattered in my apartment, which you are going to have to find. And how you can move the camera is I'm going to be blindfolded, and you're going to have to direct me around. It's just going to be a 5-minute time limit, and for you to point out as many balloons in my apartment as possible.
A little bit more to the left, a little bit more. Stop. Balloon on the chair.
Okay.
Pause in this doorway. Can you pan? Oh, there's a balloon up pink up on the top on the ceiling. Can you look? Oh, and a balloon possibly straight ahead through that doorway. It looks like a circular, like purple balloon. So.
All right, go straight a little bit, or slightly right. All right, pause. Pan left. Fuck. Go right, slightly right, straight.
Wonderful. Could you get down on your knees and show me under the table?
Yeah, I see a green balloon near another lamp. It's like sitting at the base of the lamp, kind of.
Straight. There's a balloon on the table or whatever, purple one.
I see a balloon near the TV.
Yeah.
It's red, and I also see an orange balloon on like the wall above some deer-looking thing.
Balloon in the Santa hat. Maybe move a little bit to the left, please.
Up. And balloon.
There's a balloon on the left right there.
Or a little bit more to the left. A balloon above the door.
Balloons everywhere here.
Because this was an individual challenge done across multiple days, I decided to announce the winner a few hours before the next tribal council.
The way people are looking at it is all about trying to get a strong 5 for your, like, who do you want as your final 5? Because we're going to be down to 9 after this vote. So, like, who do you want to control the game with? So, I think it will, unless, I mean, people who aren't talking to me could be coming up with other plans, but my plan is to pretty much stay along the tribe lines and vote out either Harvey or Ray or Sahil or Andy.
Schwartz, I tried working with him on 2 votes, and he fucked me over, and she screwed me over on 2 of those votes. 2 of 2, and like fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, or otherwise, whatever, you know what I mean. Like, I'm not taking that chance again. I don't want to work with him. Right now, we do have the numbers, and we can start picking people off. But like, things change obviously week to week, and I know Sahil like is sort of kind of more gravitating towards that group of 3 sophomores of Joey, Schwartz, and Reggie. Like, he really likes Reggie and Schwartz and Joey. So ideally we would get rid of one of those 3 tonight, and then maybe Sahil would be much more willing to work with us in the future. That's going to involve getting Bittner to flip potentially, or maybe we'll tie. I don't know. Tonight's a really critical vote because it will determine the future of the tribe, because right now we are 6 and 4, but who knows, you know. I just texted Beef this morning and I was like, what are you hearing for tonight? And he said, to be honest, I'm hearing your name thrown around. But I'm going to try to convince people to go Reggie or Joey. And I said, okay, that makes sense. But I feel like it's definitely Schwartz. So Schwartz has it out for me. He had it out for Randy. He got Randy.
I think Ray and Harvey are the 2 best options. I don't think Andy's playing the game very hard, so I just don't fear him very much right now. And I kind of want to work with Sahil. I think we've been talking enough that we could potentially work together at some point, and like maybe that's how I pull off a move, is by working with Sahil. So like I kind of want to keep him around.
Then me and Schwartz usually text before tribals or like exchange words or whatever, but we never really end up voting the same way. So yeah, but I mean, I trust what he says because he's never lied to me about anything, and I've never lied to him either. But like, we just never end up voting the same way.
And then Harvey and Ray are just kind of schemers. So like, everyone knows Ray's a schemer. People call him a snake. So he'd be an easy vote. But honestly, since people say that about him, we might as well maybe keep him around another vote, because I think Harvey is someone who, once again, could draw people to flip sides. So I think Harvey is who I want to see go next.
So I do want to get him out at some point because he is an antagonist. But to kind of bide my time and roll with the numbers here, so it's probably going to be Reggie and Joey. Joey has had his name brought up at every single tribal and has yet to be voted out. So I don't know. Ideally, I'd rather go for Reggie because he's more of a challenge threat out of those three guys, but we'll see.
Part of me doesn't want to vote for Ray, and the same reason was applicable last week. And it's that he is untrusted by almost everyone. So, or distrusted, I guess, is the correct term. And because of that, at least I view him as less of a threat in the long run, because no one will work with him for multiple weeks at a time. Maybe 1 week if it's convenient, but everyone knows not to trust him. He might backstab you. But, so that's why I thought we shouldn't vote for him. We should keep him for like easy pickings later on and vote for someone else who's more of a threat long term. Maybe it's time to get rid of Ray so that we have one less vote to have to overcome to vote as a block again. Or at least we have the lead, we have losing a vote from our group and still having the majority. But outside of Ray, I think we might be targeting Harrison actually this week. I think Harrison his name is being floated around. His name has definitely being floated around this past few days. Not quite particularly sure why on the other tribes, that's a natural reason to bring up his name. But compared to everyone else on the other tribe, I think Andy is someone we see as someone we can work with, and Sahil as well. Ray and Harrison are more closely aligned than the rest of us are with them. So we'd like to break up that duo.
I don't know anything about how Reggie's playing this game, who he's working with. I just know he's winning the challenges.
We're trying to spread the rumor that Reggie's a challenge beast, even though like one of them was a complete hope. Like one of them was dumb luck. The balloons one was straight dumb luck, and then the next one was actually being smart. But people putting a target on Reggie's back, even though he's an ally, at least it's not on my back.
We all think Reggie's a threat, so better him than anyone else right now. Like I think he is going to be a dangerous player if we let him stick around too much. He's already won 2 immunities. He's a very smart guy. I'm sure he can come up with some sort of strategy. Whereas like Joey is not really doing much from what I can tell, and is just voting how people probably tell him to. And I don't really think at this point Schwartz will get voted out, because I think Beef and Fields are still loyal to him in some small percentage.
I feel good. I honestly haven't felt in danger pretty much going into any vote so far. There were times like before the vote where like I was told your name's brought up, but eventually it got diverted as to my knowledge. Tonight, I mean, I could be a target. I don't know why people aren't targeting me. Maybe I've been doing a good job of playing dumb at times and like not really seeming like I'm trying very hard. I don't see myself as a target, but I can always be surprised.
Ray had texted me after this last tribal pretty much saying thank you for for voting his way. And so he's like, oh, we should keep this alliance going. I was like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I don't know to what extent I want to keep it going, but Ray obviously has tried to assume the role of a power broker so far. And so I think he'll be trying to make moves. And given that, I'm in his good graces now, and that I don't think he would try to vote me out, I'd be fine voting for who he wants.
I would say me, Andy, and either Sahil or Fields, one of those two. Because Andy really has not done much. He's come up with some good plans, but like from an outsider's perspective, it doesn't really look like he's doing much. And also, like during the tribe swap, I kind of was the only reason he was able to stay in the game. So he didn't really play well for those 2 votes either. So I think I can beat him at the end, and Fields as well. I think I can beat him at the end. So hopefully those 2.
Could be long term, but I don't really trust Ray so much. I think for whatever reason, he's kind of developed a reputation as being a little bit of a snake in the game. There's a reason why people want to vote him out or joke about voting him out. And so, I don't have much to testify to that, but I don't think I would trust him as much as the people I've been working with since the beginning. I mean, even Bittner and Zach are a couple guys also I've been working with a lot. And even though, we didn't vote together, I texted Zach afterwards and was like, by the way, I thought this was the best thing, but, I still think we should work together. And we've been texting about who to vote for before, and he was still on the side of voting out Ray. But we understood where we were both coming from. So he's someone else I'll still be working with, and, maybe someone I'm more likely to work with in the future than Ray. So we'll see what happens. I don't know how that'll manifest itself this week, because it's possible Ray will want to get out someone who's closer with him, and not sure where that'll take us. But in my eyes, I'm open to allying with anyone right now.
And long story short, with the immunity challenge, Ray won immunity this week and cannot be voted out at this week's tribal council.
My whole basic strategy at the beginning of the game was I should be able to make it far enough in the game such that the remainder of the players are people that I have pretty close one-on-one alliances with. So we're approaching the part of the game that I was hoping to get to where almost everyone isn't going to target me because they're in some sort of Final 3 or Final 5 or Final 2 with me, which is the same thing I did last season. And none of them collectively realize that relationship exists, but we're getting pretty close. So if I can get through the next kind of 2 or 3 votes, then it should be a no-brainer. It'll definitely create a bitter jury. I have memories of 3 seasons ago when Andy and Brett did a very similar thing. 3 or 4 seasons ago, and Grushka was the 3rd member of the jury, pissed no one off and won because everyone was just mad at Brett and Andy. So I feel a little bit of that possibly coming, but I don't know. I'm hoping that they're not as that could be more vicious because it was in person and there was a different pain when someone does it to your face, but maybe the anonymity of the internet will make it a little easier. If I get out of this game, it's going to be someone pulled a crazy blindside on me, and they automatically have my vote if they do it. So I'll put it out there again. Props to whoever does it if they do it.
All right. I'm slightly worried that I'm the one getting voted out this week, or this tribal, because some people in my quote-unquote group, my voting block, have not been the most responsive to me today with texts. That might be just because they're busy, or it might be because they can't face me and acknowledge the fact that they're going to backstab me in less than 5 minutes. So we'll see. I'm going in there with optimism. I think we're voting Harvey together, but we'll see if that actually happens. Last tribal was a bit of a shock after James got voted out, even though I thought all of us in our voting block would vote for Ray, who happened to have won the challenge this week with the balloons. So we can't vote for him. He's no longer an easy target this week, leaving me to wonder who's up next. Hopefully it's Harvey. We'll see. This might be my last confessional. If it is, it's been fun. It's been real. GG's.
So Ray wins the challenge, so we will not be voting for him tonight, even though I didn't really want to be voting for him anyway, so that's fine. Now I'm just hoping to hear back from Fields that he's on board to vote out Harvey and get the former track superstar out of this game, get us down to 9 people, and be feeling really good about the game, though. It's getting down to the nitty-gritty, so never know who's going to stab you in the back, but...
So the vote tonight is going to be Reggie. We have a good 7 people on him, my alliance of 6 from the last vote, plus Bittner, and everything should go smoothly. We don't think Reggie has an idol, but in case he does, Beef is throwing 1 vote on Joey, and if Reggie does play an idol, we have an idol of our own to play for Harrison, because they're voting for Harrison. And then hopefully, if that happens, Joey will go home. Everything's just supposed to go the way it's supposed to go. But one thing I'm worried about is this riddle. Nobody's solved it yet. There's just been a new hint. The hint was ELT slot, so I'm guessing it has something to do with the fraternity. I have not yet figured it out, but I'm very glad I have immunity tonight because it's tonight looks like it's going to be an easy vote, but easy votes are never what they seem. So something might go wrong, and in that case, it's not going to be me for sure. So fingers crossed, Reggie goes home.
I've been working on this advantage clue for a while, and I'm pretty sure it's Brian Dalsass. His pledge book is the power of one alpha, and then alpha. So I'm at HG, not really sure where to go from there, but we're working on it.
I've reached back out to Bittner as well. I'm trying to build an alliance with him. We talked about working together at the beginning of the merge, but as seen with the last 3 votes, we haven't necessarily been on the same page. But I told him that we're all voting Reggie tonight, and hopefully that can build a little bit of trust between us, and maybe we can move forward together and try and work something out and ensure that I get to the final 3. So we'll see what happens. He might be lying to us. He might have a trick up his sleeve because it is Bittner. He's always got some sort of advantage. We'll see what happens.
I have nothing new to confess since I did the challenge. Plan is still Reggie. Alright. Live long and prosper.
Okay, what's up? It's Joey. We're about to go to Tribal. Looks like we're voting out Harrison, but I haven't heard a lot today, so maybe I'm on the block. I don't really know. Not really in the loop.
Bittner, how was your day? I've heard you had a pretty hectic week.
I haven't stopped working since last Tribal, so I really just don't know what's going on.
Okay. Have you talked to anybody, or are you just like completely in the dark?
I pretty much just started messaging people, so.
Ray, congrats on your win. How do you feel going into this?
I mean, obviously I'm safe, so that's like a big plus. Like if anything goes wrong or like any unseen advantages or twists come up, like this is like the one time I'm safe. And based off the last vote, I think I kind of needed it this week. So I'm glad I had.
Joey, talk to me about what happened at the last vote.
So essentially, like you could see during Tribal too. There's a lot of like speculation as to who had what, who was trying to make certain moves, and I guess it just tipped some certain people off. People, were like, "Hey, I gotta like make sure that I'm safe in the game," and like they were looking out. So it was a shock to me what happened with James getting voted out. But I mean, I guess 6 people voted, so most people knew what was going on, I guess.
Reggie, at the very end of last Tribal Council, you were kind of targeted by many people to be a big threat. How have you taken that, and has that changed anything in regards to this game?
I probably should have tried harder on the challenge, knowing that, but I kind of forgot about that issue. Hasn't changed my approach too much. In hindsight, I probably should have. But we'll see how this Tribal ends up being, and then I'll tell you afterwards.
I heard Ray's name, but then he won immunity, so not anymore.
True.
Always down for a good Ray vote.
You can after all of these times I've tried to work with Bittner. He tries to get.
No, I swear to God, it'll happen one of these times, Ray.
Yeah, so I really just don't have a lot of energy to ask questions and stuff, so I'm going to turn it over to Crystal and Noble if they want to ask anything.
Was not prepared for this responsibility. Yeah, sick. So obviously everyone's, playing the game from home right now and all that. Have you guys started noticing those Tribal lines from the beginning staying strong, or do you think people are starting to blur those lines?
Well, Ray didn't go home last time, so I'd say the lines are at least a little blurred.
Robin pick up in this biatch.
It's the power of beginner. We persist.
The further we get into this game, the more people start thinking strategy, so eventually groups of 8 can't stay together. And that's what happened last vote, I guess.
So obviously there was a big clue that was put out into the game very recently. I'm curious how that's been affecting the way people have been playing, how that's been settling with paranoia amongst the tribe.
Wait, I actually have a quick question for Pulaski.
Yeah.
So, if and like when someone solves the puzzle that you posted, will the rest of the tribe be notified that it has been solved, and by who? Oh. So, like, theoretically, it could have already been solved.
Correct.
What's the reward?
Well, we're not supposed to know, Reggie.
Oh, we don't know.
No.
Yo, Andy's here, by the way. I just saw him pop up.
Yeah. Good
Hey,
morning,
Andy.
Andy. How are you feeling?
I overslept my alarm.
Well, I'm glad you can make it. Thank you for joining us. At what point is it important to create that sub-alliance in your alliance, or to start kind of eating your own tribe?
All about when you think they're going to flip on you because you want to do it one tribal before that. If we're being honest, it's just the game.
I mean, look, we're all one tribe, man. There's not like this one tribe, other tribe narrative. You know, we're coming together.
All right, Beef, sure. Are you thinking
It's Snake the entire fucking game, I swear to God.
This is like what Snake was saying right before he turns on his buddies.
All right, so Beef, here's a follow-up question. If we're all one tribe right now, then what dictated the last 3 votes?
Well, probably not the last vote, but the votes before that were just pre-merged tribes, man. But see, now we're coming together, though. So.
All right, wait, so what happened in the last vote?
There was like a coalescence of like people from different tribes getting James out.
Okay, and is that coalescence still active?
I think this vote will tell us if it is or isn't. Based on my DMs right now, I don't really know. Like, maybe? I don't know.
Harrison, do you see these the like different coalescence of people happening? Coalitions, coalescence?
Voting blocks?
Yeah, I definitely see some extent of almost like I would agree with what Binder said, voting blocks. It's like a group of people that, like, like that group will stay together on every vote. Like, that in that group nobody's flipping on each other until the very end.
What is the very end? Because if it's a group of, say, 6 people, the very end is final 2 or final 3.
I'm thinking of a specific coalition in this tribe of 3 people that probably want to be in final 3 together.
I was just wondering which 3 people he was talking about.
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would like to know.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, I think we can all see that, like, Swartz, Reggie, and Joey are very close, and that's that new Caliban sticking together.
Close.
I think that's the coalition that's left.
Names at tribal.
I'll have you know, I haven't texted Reggie in like 6 hours. Just saying.
I haven't talked to Source since last month,
So how does it feel to be kind of singled out, you 3?
I don't know, it's kind of cool. I've been singled out a lot in this game, so I'm kind of used to it. And like, I feel like that looks good for a jury if you're in like what's perceived to be a power group. But I don't know. I'm not really a schemer. I wish I was, but I'm not.
It's important to keep in mind that there are still 10 people left in this game, so voting block of 3 does not give you a majority. So how would a block of 3 kind of go about actually playing and getting to that final 3 that they want?
I guess a block of 3 would just need to find 1 or 2 other people, and they could, like, if they have 3, they're safe from 6 on out. And that's only 4 votes away. So if they bring in like 1 or 2 other people, or like convince people to flip, then they can like make it to the end of the game realistically. But it just depends if they're able to find those people to flip. The thing is, like, if anyone does flip, they know that they're on the bottom of that 3. So for now, there's no incentive for like anyone to flip and join.
Didn't you have said that about the last group though? I feel like that's true of all groups, whether they're public or not. Because like I know everyone here has like people that they contact, but like I'm not. If like I like choose to vote a certain way with someone, I'm not going to be like, oh, they're like obviously going to cut me. It's like, you got to work what's best for your situation either way. You know what I mean?
That's true. I mean, it just depends on how you perceive your spot in the group, I guess.
I think I've texted Sahil every time and we haven't voted together once.
Yeah.
I don't think Sal has responded to me once about Survivor.
You only messaged me once.
Okay, well. Okay, pretty sure I texted you on Snapchat too, but well, that's fine.
That's what I'm talking about. What do you? Is there another time that I was on?
Tonight, literally.
Tonight.
Yeah.
The receipts.
I'm staring at my text messages right now, Yorench.
Lying to my face. He's lying to my face.
I'm looking at my text messages right now, Yorench. I swear on my
I
mother.
will share you. Okay, I'll take a picture of my screen and show it to the chat.
Reggie, does it say delivered in the corner?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have my message, so I won't.
All right, so Sawhill, both.
I'm on my computer.
That's wrong. Use your goddamn phone.
Like I don't feel like in person you're not texting. It's hard to ignore people when you're having a conversation, I guess. But I'll miss a text from everyone.
Yeah. Oh, you must have text. You must have text. Yeah.
Andy, it has been 3 challenges in a row that you have missed. I just want to check in and see if that's a strategy or if it's just you being you and just kind of chilling.
I wouldn't really say it's a strategy. Historically, I've never really been a challenge person. I've not really been known for winning the challenges. So I guess I just haven't been like putting that much weight on the challenges and like staying alive in the game.
It looks like Sawhill is trying to like keep a laugh in. Do you want to talk about that? Maybe let that laugh out?
No.
Okay. Is that all?
Yes. Thank you.
Anytime.
I have a question for the group. If anyone would like me to vote in a particular way, please text me because I'm not sure who I'm going to vote for. So, like, you know?
Bet.
Thank you. I think I've texted everyone here, like, within the past 20 minutes.
All right, then it is time to vote. All right, any message for him?
Haha.
For screwing me over multiple times in the past. He should have been gone before the merge. Yeah.
I have a message for him too.
Yeah.
It'll say, "I miss playing Catan with you," and then like a kissy face.
I need to get like thrown out of teas on a Wednesday, you know?
If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play it, now would be the time to do so.
Alright, I will. No happen.
Reggie, would you like to play one?
No, I'm alright. Thank you very much.
Joey.
All right. And with that said, the person with the most votes will be voted out and will become the 4th member of our jury. I will read the votes. First vote, Harrison. Reggie. Harrison. And we're tied. 2 votes Harrison, 2 votes Reggie. Reggie? That's 4 votes Reggie, 2 votes Harrison. Reggie, that's 5 votes Reggie, 2 votes Harrison. 11th person voted out and the 4th member of our jury.
Damn.
Reggie, that is 6. That is enough. With that, you become the 4th member of our jury, and the tribe has spoken.
Next time on Survivor.
I want Beef out. Has way too much power, controls everything in the game, and everyone likes him.
Also, somebody solved the riddle. It wasn't me, unfortunately, so that means that somebody has an advantage.